Right. So on yesterday we have discussed the 2019 past paper, right? Investment in associate and joint venture. Under that we have done question number 4, right? With regards to LKS 28 in the 2019 past paper. So today we will discuss on the 2018 past paper, right? 2018 one. So before moving to this, let me to show you this one. So this is something I have prepared for the 2016 batch, right? So this is a brief summary covering the areas tested on your exams, right? So if I go through this, right, conceptual framework and presentation of financial statements, under that, these were the areas frequently tested, right? When it comes to income taxes, knowledge on these things has been tested, right? So this is exactly the summary I brought forward, I brought to your discussion as well, right? And LK 16. So this is something I have prepared for the 2016 batch, but I feel it is still valid for you as well, right? So based on the exam papers, so these areas under each standard has been frequently tested. Okay, so here, LKS 28, the topic we are discussing at the moment, right? So it has been frequently tested on these key terms. What do we mean by an associate? What do we mean by significant influence? What do we mean by control? So these terms were frequently tested. And this is now you know. Equity accounting method, your knowledge on this has been tested frequently, right? Equity accounting method එක ඔයාලා දන්නවද? Investment in associate එකකදී. So how to find the carrying amount of the investment in associate account? That one. Okay. And the adjustments. How should we pass the double entries? Right? How should we pass these double entries when there are unrealized profit? Can happen in two ways. How? If it is an investment in associate, parent can do sales transaction for the associate. If it is so, how can we pass the double entry for the unrealized profit generated? If the other way around, what is the double entry we need to pass? Like that way, if it is an investment in joint venture, right? And there, if the parent has done a sales transaction to the joint venture, and if there is any unrealized profit generated, how should we pass the double entry? If the other way around, what should be the double entry? And when it comes to impairment losses, if it is an associate, how we should recognize. If it is in a joint venture, how we should recognize. And other key points you should know with regards to LKS 28, right? So I have highlighted 3 key points. The first one is what? Goodwill related with investment in associates is not separately recognized in the books of accounts. Right? Goodwill එක generate නොතින් අපි ඒක වෙනම පොත්වලට අරගෙන ඉන්නේ නැහැ. If it is a investment in associate. In consolidation, investment in associates are not considered for line by line addition. Balance sheet එකේ අපි assets line by line add කරලා පෙන්නන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. We are not going for line by line addition if it is an investment in associate. Okay. And the last one, in consolidation, investment in joint ventures are considered for line by line addition only for the parents percentage. Investment in associate එකක් නම් අපි line by line addition එක කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. But it is an investment in joint venture. There we need to do what? We need to do the line by line addition, but only for the parents percentage. It means if our joint venture has an inventory value of 1,000 and if we have acquired 30% of them, we cannot take that 1,000 as it is. We need to take only 30% of it when we are doing line by line addition, right? So this is in nutshell what you should right? What you should know when preparing for the exams. ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකේ තව ගොඩක් දේවල් කියනවා. හැබැයි එක්සෑම් එකට රෙඩි වෙද්දි මෙන්න මේ ඒරියාස් වලින් තමයි ගොඩක්ම ඔයාලගේ පේපර් එක ටච් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Right. So with that, we will move to the 2018 past paper question. Question number 3. Right? Question number 3. Read this out first. What it says. Sanuri PLC became venturer in joint venture firm called Binuti PLC to conduct business operation subject to joint control. And Sanuri PLC has interest of 30% over Binuti PLC. Sanuri has acquired 30% of Binuti. And what it says, Binuti is a joint venture. You know, Sanuri is the parent and Binuti is the joint venture, right? At the date, Sanuri PLC became a venturer in Binuti PLC. Following equity components could be seen related to Binuti PLC. As at the acquisition date, the net assets of the joint venture is given. Acquire කරගන්න දවස වෙද්දී Binuti PLC වල share capital එක කීයද? Retained earnings කීයද? General reserves කීයද? ඒ figures ටික අපිට දෙනවා. Right? And they have given us the statement of financial position of these two companies as at 31st March 2018. Sanuri PLC and Binuti PLC. Some additional information have been given, and what we need to do? We need to prepare consolidated statement of financial position of Sanuri PLC as on 31st March 2018. It's okay, you can send her. So I got a message. Okay, it's okay. Right. First, we will start from the beginning. First thing is what? We need to map these information, right? We need to map these information. Sanuri PLC became a venturer in joint venture firm called Binuti PLC to conduct business operation subject to joint control, and Sanuri PLC has interest of 30% over Binuti PLC. I will have it here, right? On the acquisition date is not given, so we don't know, right? What has happened? Sanuri PLC, let's say S for Sanuri, has acquired 30% of Binuti PLC, right? And as at the acquisition date, the net assets figure, the net asset value of Binuti is given. Share capital 120,000. Retained earnings 18,000. General reserves 22,000. General reserves 22,000. Right. Right. So in this part, those are the information we have given. And here they say Binuti PLC is what for us? Is a joint venture. Binuti PLC කියලා කියන්නේ joint venture එකක්. Right? Binuti PLC is a joint venture. Right. What else we should know with related to this acquisition? when we are acquiring a particular company, what are the other things we should know? What? මෙතන missing වෙච්ච part එක මොකද්ද? The investment value. Right? මේ 130ක් acquire කරගන්න කීයක් අපි ගෙවනවද? Investment. Right. Okay. Then the statement of financial position is given. So we need to prepare the consolidated statement of financial position of Sanuri PLC. Then we can roll the sum. Sanuri PLC group, we need to prepare what? The statement of consolidated statement of financial position. Consolidated statement of financial position as at 31st March 2018. Right? This is what we need to prepare. We have non-current assets. We have non-current assets. Under non-current assets, we have PPE and investment in building. And then we have current assets. Under current assets, we have inventory, trade receivables, dividend receivables, loan given to Bigotti PLC, cash and cash equivalents. So then we may have our total assets figure. Our equity components are share capital, retained earnings, and general reserves. The non-current liabilities, we have a bank loan. On the current liabilities, we have trade payable, loan received from Sanuri PLC, dividend payable. Finally, total equity and liabilities. So I will have 3 columns. First column to have the figures of the parent company, and second column I will allocate to do the adjustments, and the final column to take the final figures. Right? The same way we have done yesterday. Right. The parent company figures. The parent company figures. So is the parent? Parent is the Sanuri PLC. Sanuri is the parent. Binuti is the joint venture. Okay. Right. PPE, the parent company figure is what? 120,000. Right. So in the first column I have allocated to have the parent company figures. PPE value of the parent is 120,000. PPE value of the parent. Investment in Binuti 50,000. So I will show how it goes with double entries. That is why I have taken the figure here. Double entries එක මේක නැති වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා මම පෙන්නන්නම්. ඒකයි මම මෙයාව මෙතනටම අරන් ආවේ. Right. Current assets, inventory value of the parent 65,000. Trade receivables 15,300. Loan given to Binuti PLC 12,000. Cash and cash equivalent 24,700. Equity, stated capital 175,000. Retained earnings 43,000. And general reserves 15,000. Bank loan 5,000. We have a lease creditor as well. Leased creditors 8,000. Trade payable 37,000. Loan received from Sunri PLC. What is the parent company figure? Nil, 0. Right? Only the parent company figures we are considering here. Dividend payable. Dividend payable, parent company figure is 4,000. Right. Okay. So this is what? This is a joint venture, right? Binuti PLC is a joint venture for us. If it is a venture, in that summary, what I have told, in consolidation, investment in joint venture, what we need to do? Investment in joint ventures are considered for line by line addition only for the parent's percentage, right? We need to consider the line by line addition, but we need to be careful. Why? We need to consider only the parent's percentage. It means what? Here, this is our joint venture, Binuti PLC. The PPE value of Binuti PLC is what? 170,000. So here, what we need to do? This total 170,000 we can't consider here. We can consider only what? Only what is our acquisition percentage? 30%. 30% of this 170,000 we need to add under PPE, right? මේ 1,70,000න් 130ක්. Sorry, there is a road construction going on. Sorry for the disturbance. 170,000 into 30%. That is 51,000. Right? 51,000. Investment in Binuti, no figure here. Inventory, we have 45,000. Out of this 45,000, we need to consider 30% for the line by line addition purpose. It means 13,500. Here we need to add 13,500. Trade receivables, Binuti PLC, there are trade receivables worth of 20,000. Out of this 20,000, 30%. It means 6,000. Right? 6,000. dividend receivable and loan given to Vinti, no figures here. And we have cash and cash equivalent worth of 15,000. For a 15,000 willing 30%. That means 4,500. We need to add. What about stated capital? 120,000. This is as at 31st March 2018. A balance sheet date, right? Out of this 120,000, 30%. That is 36,000. Right? That is 36,000. Retained earnings, 30,000 is there. Out of this 30,000, 30% means 9,000. Right? 9,000. General reserves, 22,000 into 30%, 6,600. Bank loan, 12,000 into 30%, 3,600. Leased creditors, 25,000 තියෙනවා විනති PLC වල. ඕකෙන් 130ක්. ඒ කියන්නේ 7,500ක්. Trade payable, 30% of 28,000, 8,400. Loan received from Sankri PLC, right? There is an amount worth of 12,000. Out of this, 30%, right? 3,600. Here, 3,600. Dividend payable, 1,000 is there. 30% of it means 300. Okay, investment in associate එකක් වුණා නම් අපි මේ දේවල් කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. Right? We are not going to do this line by line addition because this is an investment in joint venture. We need to do the line by line addition only for the parents percentage. That is what we have done here. Clear? Parent company ke figures consider kara, then, right? We have done the line by line addition on the parents percentage. Acquisition percentage ka base karagena line by line addition kara. So that brief summary is actually something which need to be prepared by yourself. That is something you need to prepare on your own. Okay. Okay, I will upload that. No issue, but I recommend you to prepare your own one. Mama prepare කරපේකට වඩා ඔයාලගේ මේක prepare කරගන්න. එතකොට it will be easier for you, right? Okay. Now we can move on to the additional information, right? Before that, we can have the investment value. Investment in Vinuti is what? 50,000, right? Investment in Vinuti PLC is 50,000. 50,000. As at the acquisition date, what was the total net asset value? 160,000, right? As at the acquisition date, the total net asset value of Vinuti PLC was 160,000. And we have acquired 30% of this. Means how much? ඔය 1,60,000ම නෙවෙයිනේ. අපි ඔය 1,60,000න් කීයක් විතරද අපට අයිති? Of this, 30% belonging to us. That is 48,000. Right? To acquire 48,000 worth of net assets, we have paid how much? We have paid 50,000. What is this difference then? මොකද්ද මේ වෙනස? There is a difference of 2,000. What is this difference? මොකද්ද මේ වෙනස? This is what? දෙකයිනේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එක්ක මෙයා goodwill, එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙයා කවුද? Gain on bargain purchase. Here, this is what? Our investment value is greater, right? Yes, this is the goodwill which we have generated through this acquisition. Remember, this is a joint venture. A joint venture එකක්. The goodwill generated, do we need to take it into our books? අපේ පොත්වලට මෙයාව අරන් එන්න ඕනද? Yes or no? Yes, goodwill of 2,000. So do we need to take this into our books? If it was an associate, no, we are not going to do anything with regard to the goodwill generated. Associate එකක් නම් අපි මුකුත්ම කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. But this is what? This is a joint venture. If it is a joint venture, we need to take this amount to our books of account. මේ 2000 අපි පොත්වලට අරගෙන එන්න ඕන. Right. So what should be the double entry here? What should be the double entry here? Right. So I will have it here. This is the consolidation adjustment entry we are going to pass. What to debit, what to credit. What to debit, what to credit. කොහොමද මේ 2000 ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ? How? Now we know for sure what we need to do. We need to debit 2,000 to the goodwill account, right? Goodwill account need to be debited by 2,000. Me 2,000 generate today කොහොමද? How this 2,000 has been generated? How? Investment in Vinuti PLC credit වෙනවා, right? Investment in Vinuti PLC credit කීයක් තියෙනවද account එකේ? 50,000 පෙන්නනවා. ඒ 50,000, that one we need to credit. And what else? This 48,000 worth of net assets we need to what? We will have this one here. Net assets debit 48,000. ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට තමයි අපේ goodwill එක generate වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. So this is the consolidation adjustments, right? මේ 2000 double entry වලින් පෙන්වුවොතින් this is how it has been generated. Net assets debit 48,000, investment value credit 50,000. As a result of this, a goodwill has been generated worth of 2,000. Right. So we'll pass the double entries here. Goodwill account debit 2,000. Goodwill account debit 2,000. Here, goodwill. We have a new asset. Goodwill worth of 2,000. Right? Worth of 2,000. On a goodwill like a debit kara. This entry we have passed. Then net assets need to be debited by 48,000. Net assets need to be debited by 48,000. Net assets 48,000 ආවේ මේ ඔක්කොගෙම 130ක්. එහෙනම් separately we need to identify what is their respective portion, right? Out of 160,000, 30% means 48,000. So this 48,000 we can take individually, right? Equity component wise. ගත්තොතින් කොහමද? මේ 48,000 කීයක් මෙතනින් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවද? From stated capital. 30% of this කීයද? 36,000. Retained earnings වලින් 30%. Retained earnings within 30%, 5,400. General reserves within 30%, 6,600. Okay, yes, 36,000, 5,400, 6,600. This is how this 48,000 has been generated. අපි මෙයාවම වෙන විදිහකට ගත්තා. Net assets debit කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ, right? For each of these equity component, we need to debit these amounts. 48,000 debit කරන්න කිව්වනේ. Net assets debit 48,000. So net that 48,000 හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ කොහමද? 36,000 from stated capital, 5,400 from retained earnings, 6,600 from general reserves. So we need to debit these accounts by these given amounts. Stated capital, we need to debit 36,000. I will say consolidation adjustment, CA. Consolidation adjustment, right? Retained earnings, we need to debit by 5,400. මෙයාව debit වෙන්න ඕන 5,400. Consolidation adjustment. General reserve need to be debited by 6,600. 6,600. Consolidation adjustment. Right. So we have debited this 48,000. May entries දෙකම අපි පොත්වලට අරගෙන ආවා. Now this one, investment in Binuti, we need to credit by 50,000. Here investment in Binuti, we need to credit. Credit කරන්න මෙයාට එකතු වෙන්න දෝන අඩු වෙන්න දෝන. This is an asset. It means this is a debit balance. If we need to credit, what we need to do? We need to deduct 50,000. Right? Consolidation adjustment. Now you can see the investment in Binuti balance will be nil. So consolidation statement of financial position එකේ investment in Binuti balance එක 0. Right? So this is the consolidation adjustment. ඔය goodwill එක generate වෙන්නේ ඔය විදියට. For the calculation purpose, අපිට මේ විදියට placing අපිට goodwill එක කීයද කියලා බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So that is done. Now we can move to the additional information. Right. So far what we have done, we have considered the parent company figures here, and then we have done the line by line addition based on the acquisition percentage. And the third thing we have done so far is what? We have done the consolidation adjustment. Right? Okay. Additional information number 1. Binuti PLC has sold goods at invoice price of 25,000 to Sanuri PLC during the current financial year. Binuti means our joint venture has sold goods at invoice price of 25,000 to Sanuri PLC. First, let's map that information. Binuti has sold to Sanuri. I will have it here. Binuti has sold to Sanuri. Sales worth of 25,000. 40% of these goods were remained at the store of Sanuri PLC and another 20% was still in transit at the close of the current financial year. Out of this 25,000, 40% is at their stock. Stock 40% පෙන්නනවා. Another 20%, what has happened, was still in transit. Another 20% out of this 25,000 is still in transit. So these are what? Goods in transit. Goods in transit. So we need to record this one first. Unrealized profit හොයාගෙන calculate account කරන්න කලින් මෙන්න මෙයාව accounts තියලා ඉන්න ඕන. Goods in transit. So how can we do that one? 25,000 into 20%. 25,000 into 20% is 5,000, right? Is 5,000. Good in transit 5,000. How can we account for this? How can we account for this? Yes, good in transit value is 5,000. May good in transit 5,000. How can we account? Good in transit. What is the double entry we need to pass? Inventory එකට එකතු වෙන්න ඕන, right? Inventory need to be debited by how much? 5,000, right? Inventory need to be debited by 5,000. Where to credit? Credit වෙන්නේ ඕන කොහාටද? Retained earnings credit 5,000. This is the entry we need to pass. Right. So inventory account need to be debited by 5,000. This is our inventory account. Inventory need to be debited. Debit නම් එකතු කරනවද අඩු කරනවද? Inventory is an asset. So assets carry debit balances. If we need to further debit means we need to add 5,000. This is what? Goods in transit. Goods in transit. Yes. And retained earnings, we need to credit by 5,000. Here is our retained earning account, need to be credited. Equity component credit කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ මොකක් කරන්න ඕන? We need to add 5,000. Goods in transit. Right. Goods in transit. Right. Now we can record the unrealized profit. Then අපිට unrealized profit එක calculate කරලා ඒක accounts තියන්න පුළුවන්. Here 40% is at the stock now. 140ක stock එකත් 140 මේ කරපු sale එකෙන් 140ක් මෙයාලා ගාව තියෙනවා. It is within their stock. And further 20% is in transit. ඒ කියන්නේ එයත් මෙයාට මොකක් වෙන්න ඕනද? මේ inventory එකට අපි මොකක් කරාද? Goods in transit එක අපි account කරලා මොකද්ද කරේ? Inventory account debit කරා. ඒ කියන්නේ තව 120ක් මෙයාට එකතු කරා. මෙයාගේ inventory එකට එකතු කරා. It means total, what is the percentage? Out of this 25,000, 60% is remaining in the stock. මේ කරපු sale transaction එකෙන් 160ක් මෙයාගේ inventory එක ඇතුලේ දැන් තියෙනවා. 60% of 25,000 means what? 15,000. 15,000 stock එකක් මෙයා ගාව ඉතිරි වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතිරි වුණා නම් එතන මොකක් generate වෙනවද? Unrealized profit එකක් generate වෙනවා. That one we need to find and eliminate. Right. what it says here. Goods in transit we have accounted. Binuti PLC invoice goods to Sanuri PLC having added 20% on invoice price, right? 20% on invoice price. That is their pricing policy. 20% on invoice price. So we say selling price. Selling price එක 100 නම් කීයක profit එකක් තියාගන්නවද? 20% on selling price means if the selling price is 100, the profit should be 20. It means the cost is 80. එහෙනම් මේ 15000 ඇතුලේ කීයක profit එකක් ඇද්ද? 100ක් ඇතුලේ 20ක profit එකක් තියෙනව නම් 15000ක් ඇතුලේ කීයක profit එකක් ඇද්ද? What should be the profit value here within this 15,000? මේ 15000 ඇතුලේ කීයක profit තියෙනවද? 15,000 into 20%. 3,000, right? 3,000. Yes, 3,000. So here we need to consider the parents' percentage, right? 3,000 at which percent? කීයක percentage එකක් විතරද? අපි inventory වලට add කරද්දී මොකද කරේ? අපි acquisition percentage එක විතරයි add කරේ. Here also we need to consider the acquisition percentage. That is 30%. 30% of this 3,000 is what? 30% of these 3,000 is 900. Therefore, this is the amount that we need to pass the double entry, right? 900. So there is an unrealized profit worth of 900. Double entry pass කරන්න ඕන figure එක තමයි 900. So what should be the double entry then? Then pass වෙන්න ඕන double entry මොකක්ද? Where to debit and where to credit. Here we need to pass and debit entry as well as credit entry. We have found the value. Okay, වෙන්න ඕන. 900 debit වෙන්න ඕන, 900 credit වෙන්න ඕන. What are the two accounts? Where to debit and where to credit? Where to debit and where to credit? Where to debit and where to credit? Binuti PS. Where to debit and where to credit? Retained earnings debit, inventory credit. Yes, right? Retained earnings debit, inventory credit. Retained earnings debit, inventory account credit. Retained earnings debit 900. Retained earnings debit 900. This is unrealized profit. Retained earning account එක debit කරා. And we need to credit it to the inventory account. Here is our inventory account. We need to credit. Credit කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ here we need to deduct 900 unrealized profit. Okay. We have found the figure and then we need to pass the double entry. Retained earnings debit, inventory account credit. That is the first one, right? Additional information number one we have treated. Second one, Binuti PLC has proposed final dividend of rupees 1,000. Binuti PLC has proposed final dividend of 1,000. Our joint venture has declared a dividend worth of 1,000. Out of that 1,000, what is our percentage? ඔය 1000 100ට කීයක් අපේද? 30% belonging to us. If we go through their balance sheet, right? See, under Binuti PLC, there is a dividend payable amount of 1,000. This is what? This is the dividend they have declared, right? And we also have recorded the dividend receivable amount. 30% of this means 300. This 300 we have debited as dividend receivable. And මෙයාට payable 1000ක් වුණාට Sunri PLC එකට receivable වෙන්නේ ඕකෙන් කීයක් විතරද? 130ක් විතරයි. ඒ කියන්නේ 300ක් විතරයි. එයාලා dividend receivable වල ඒක දාලා තියෙනවා. No issue. But here what we need to do? We need to eliminate the intercompany balance. Intercompany balance එක අපි මෙතන eliminate කරන්න ඕන. What is the intercompany balance here? මේ payable මෙයාලගේ 1000 ඇතුලේ මොකක් තියෙනවද? අපිට එන්න ඕන 300ක් තියෙනවා. අපි ඒක අපේ receivable එකක් විදිහට record කරගෙන තියෙනවා. So this one we need to eliminate. We need to set off, right? So here eliminating intercompany dividend. We need to eliminate the intercompany dividend, right? Dividend payable account need to be debited. Dividend receivable account need to be credited. What is the amount? 300. Right? So this is the entry we need to pass. Dividend receivable account credit. Dividend receivable account credit 300. This is intercompany dividend. I wrote it as ICD, intercompany dividend. 300 credited to the dividend receivable account, and this need to be debited to the dividend payable account. Intercompany dividend. අපි line by line add කරද්දී අරලියගෙන් අපිට ආපු 300 මොකක් වුණාද? ආයෙ මෙතනින් set off වෙලා ගියා. Right. So that is point number 2. Right? Intercompany dividend. We have eliminated. Then the third one. Sanuri PLC has sold a used machine to Binuti PLC at 30,000 on 1st of October 2017. And the machine had carrying amount of 20,000 at the date of disposal. Both companies depreciate machine at the rate of 20%. Right? Here, Sanuri PLC has sold a used machine to Binuti PLC. Let's map this information. Sanuri PLC has sold a machine to Binuti. Sanuri PLC has sold a used machine to Binuti PLC at 30,000. Right? Selling price is 30,000. on 1st October 2017, right, the date, and the machine on 1st October 2017. On 1st October 2017. And the machine had carrying amount of 20,000 at the date of disposal. Carrying amount එක 20000ක් වෙච්ච එකක් තමයි මේ කීයකට විකුණන්නේද? 30000කට විකුණන්නේ. එහෙනම් ඔය sales transaction එකෙන් කීයක profit එකක් තියාගෙන තියෙනවද? මෙයා. There is an unrealized profit worth of 10,000, right? There is an unrealized profit worth of 10,000, but we cannot account for this 10,000 as it is. May 10,000 වලටම අපිට account entry pass කරන්න බෑ. We need to consider what? The acquisition percentage. 30% of this means how much? කීයක්ද? 3,000. This is the unrealized profit, that amount that we need to pass the double entry, 3,000. Yes, 3,000, correct. So how to pass the double entry here? Unrealized profit from intercompany sale of assets. Yes, right. What should be the double entry here? This is an unrealized profit. අපි ඇත්තටම realize වෙච්ච profit එකක් නෙවෙයි. ලාභයෙන් එන එකක් වෙන්න ඕනද? ලාභයෙන් අඩු වෙන්න ඕන. Retained earnings need to be debited by 3,000. Where to credit? Credit කරන්න ඕන කොහාටද? This unrealized profit amount we have debited to the retained earnings account, and where to credit? That should be credited to the PPE account, right? So this is the entry we need to pass. Retained earnings account debit 3,000. Retained earnings debit කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අඩු වෙන්න ඕන 3,000. Unrealized profit 3,000 debited. Where to credit? PPE need to be credited by 3,000. Unrealized profit. Unrealized profit. Unlike inventories වල නම් අපි උතනින් නැවතුණා, right? Unrealized profit from intercompany sales. Inventories වල නම් අපි උතනින් නැවතුණා. Unrealized profit එක හෙව්වා, ඒකට double entry pass කරා, හරි. But here we cannot stop from here. Why? If it is related to assets, what we do? Sorry, if it is related with PPE, what we usually do? PPE නම් තව මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? Depreciate වෙනවා. මේක නිසා මොකක් වෙලා ඇද්ද? Right? මේක නිසා මොකක් වෙලා ඇද්ද? මේ 10,000ට අදාළව වැඩිපුර depreciate වෙලා ඇති. Right? There will be a over depreciation. Right? There may be an over depreciation. Over depreciation. So what is the over depreciation amount? වැඩිපුර කීයක් depreciate වෙලා ඇද්ද? වැඩිපුර කීයක් depreciate වෙලා ඇද්ද? There is an unrealized profit of 10,000. නම් මෙන්න මේ 1000ට අදාළවනේ වැඩිපුර ටික ෂෙයා වෙලා ඇත්තේ. What is their rate of depreciation? Both companies depreciate machine at the rate of 20%, right? 20%. එහෙනම් ඔය 10000ට වැඩිපුර 120ක් අපි depreciate කරලා ඇති. But for how many months? How many months? ඔය transaction එක වෙන්නේ මේදා on 1st of October 2017. Our year ends on 31st March 2018. එහෙනම් මාස කීයක් විතරද වැඩිපුර share වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? ඔක්තෝබර් 1 වෙනිදා ඉඳන් මාර්තු 31 වෙනකම්. Only 6 months. එහෙනම් කීයක්ද? Over depreciation amount එක කීයද? 10,000 into 20% means 2,000. 2,000 වලින් භාගයක් කියලා කියන්නේ 1,000. Yes, 6 months, 1,000. But here again, what we need to consider? We need to consider the acquisition percentage. Acquisition percentage is 30%. So 1,000 into 30%, 300. This is the over depreciated amount, right? Over depreciated amount 3,000. So this is the amount where we need to pass the double entry, right? 3,000 over depreciation. Over depreciation. How to pass the double entry? වැඩිපුර share වෙලා. වැඩිපුර share වෙලා නම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? වැඩිපුර share වෙලා නම් we may have recognized an higher expense. අපි අඳුන ගන්න ඕන වියදම් වලට වඩා වැඩිපුර අඳුනගෙන. වැඩිපුර වියදම් අඳුනගත්තම මොකද වෙන්නේ? වැඩිපුර වියදම් අඳුනගත්තම අපේ ලාභය අඩු වෙනවා. right? දැන් අපිට තියෙන මොන ලාභයක්ද? අඩු වෙච්ච ලාභයක්. එහෙනම් මේ ලාභය මොකක් කරන්න ඕනද? මොකක් වෙන්න ඕනද? ලාභය වැඩි වෙන්න ඕන. ලාභය වැඩි වෙනවා නම් retained earnings need to be credited by 300. Where to debit? Where to debit? PPE need to be debited by 300. Right? PPE debit 300, retained earnings credit 300. PPE debit කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ we need to add 300. This is over depreciation. Over depreciation 300. PPE we have debited. We have to credit. Retained earnings need to be credited by 300 over depreciation. Over depreciation. The intercompany sales of assets. We have done the treatment. Unrealized profit amount we have found and passed the double entry. Apart from that, we have computed the over depreciation value and passed the double entry there. Right. Fourth point. Sanuri PLC has given a short-term loan of 12,000 to Binuti PLC. Sanuri has given a loan to Binuti PLC. Right. So here, Binuti Sanuri PLC has given short-term loan of 12,000 to Binuti PLC. Here, loan given to Binuti PLC is coming under the current assets of Sanuri PLC, 12,000. And the same appears as an current liability of Binuti PLC. So what do we need to do? We need to eliminate the intercompany balance, right? We have given a loan to our joint venture. So we need to find what is the intercompany amount and we need to eliminate that. Out of this 12,000, what is our acquisition percentage? 30%. So 12,000 into 30% means what? 3,600. That 3,600 we need to eliminate. Eliminate intercompany loans. Loans payable account need to be debited. Loans receivable account need to be credited by 3,600. 30% of 12,000, 3,600. Loans payable. Here loans received from Sunday PLC. This need to be debited by 3,600 intercompany loan. Right? On the loans payable like a debit kara. Loans receivable account need to be credited. Here this need to be credited by 3,600 intercompany loans. So we have eliminated the intercompany loan amount, 3,600. That is point number 4. The last point, what it says, Binuti PLC had recorded credit purchase invoice of 3,500 as 6,500 in the purchase day book. Right? Credit purchase invoice එකක්. Invoice of 3,500 as 6,500. 3,500ක invoice එකක් කීයක් කියලා record කළාද? 6,500ක් කියලා record කරගෙන. වැඩිපුර 3,000ක් record වෙලා. So how can we rectify that? ඒ වෙච්ච වැරද්ද අපි හදන්නේ කොහොමද? How can we rectify this issue? Binuti PLC has had recorded credit purchase invoice of 3,500 as 6,500 in the purchase table. කවුද මේ වැරද්ද කරලා තියෙන්නේ? අපේ joint venture එක. Joint venture එක වැරද්ද කරා නම් we should be careful that we need to consider only the acquisition percentage. Impact එකේ acquisition percentage එකට විතරයි. ඒකට ඒක විතරයි අපි ගන්නෙ. Right. Right. Binuti PLC had recorded credit purchase invoice of 3,500 as 6,500. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් වෙලාද? අපි credit අපි payable පැත්තෙන් හිතුවේ තියෙන trade payables මොකක් වෙලාද? 3,500ක් කියලා අඳුන ගන්න ඕන එකක් මොකක් කරලාද යාලා? 6,500ක් කියලා අඳුනගෙන. වැඩිපුර 3,000කින් අඳුනගෙන. එහෙනම් මොකක් වෙන්න ඕනද? වැඩිපුර අඳුනගත් එක අපි අඩු කරන්න ඕන. It means we need to debit the trade payable account. Correction of error here down. Right? We need to debit the trade payable account. What is the amount we need to debit? What is the amount we need to debit? 3,000න් වැඩිපුර 3,000ක් අඳුනගෙනනේ. ඔය 3,000න් 100ට කීයද? ඔය 3,000න් 130ක්. 30% of this 3,000 කීයද? 900. Right? Trade payable account need to be debited. Where to credit? Where to credit? Retained earnings need to be credited by 900. Right? So this is how we can rectify the error. We need to consider only the acquisition percentage because this is an error made by our joint venture. Right. Trade payable account debit 900. Trade payable account debit means we need to deduct 900. Error. Right? 900 we have debited. And then Retained earnings account, we need to credit by 900. Retained earnings account, we need to credit by 900. So that is all what we need to do, right? So here in this sum, we had passed the consolidation adjustment. Goods in transit we have accounted, and we have computed and accounted for the unrealized profit from intercompany sales, and we have eliminated the intercompany dividend, and we have computed and passed the double entries for the unrealized profit amount generated from intercompany sale of assets and the over depreciation resulted from it, and we have eliminated the intercompany loans amount, and finally as the final adjustment we have correct the error made by our joint venture, right? So what should be the balances here then? PPE, the balance should be 168,300. Investment in Vinity, the value should be nil, and there is a goodwill of 2,000. Inventory value 65,000 plus 13,500 plus 5,000 minus 900. Trade receivables 15,000 plus 6,000. Dividend receivable, the balance will be nil. Loans given to Binuti 12,000, and we have eliminated the intercompany loan amount. Cash and cash equivalent, and finally the total asset amount should be 311,500. Stated capital, right, 175,000. Retained earnings 43,000 plus 9,000 minus 5 4 double note plus 5,000 minus 900 minus 3,000 plus 300 and plus 900, 48,900. General reserves 15,000. Bank loan amount 5,000 plus 3,600. Lease creditors here. Trade payable amount 37,000 plus 8,400 minus 900. Loans, the balance is nil. Loan payable amount. Dividend payable, that is 4,000. So total equity and liability value also equals to 311,500. Right. So in 2019, we have tested on investment in associates. In 2018, we have tested on investment in joint ventures, right? And if you go through the other past papers, you would find both these sort of investments are there in one sum. Investment chart combine sections to there, right? So you need to be careful when treating for those adjustments whether that particular acquisition is an associate or a joint venture. Okay, so with that shall we stop. I will upload these answers to your Google Classroom.